In the present video, we're going to discuss the use of two different vertical scales when we're plotting two or more graphics or two or more plots in the same graph. For that purpose, we're going to use an example that we presented earlier, which is these two functions that were plotted already using plot xy. Remember, insert plot xy plot. And we did some modification of the curves and the symbols and so on. Remember, modification of the curves is done using the traces, the list of traces. And for each trace, you can change the color and the size of the line and add symbols by selecting types in here for each one of them. We give names to each one of them. This is g of x, this is f of x, and we create a legend. We show a legend there in the northwest position and so on. So we have that already prepared. What we're going to do is use different scales, different vertical scales for those graphics. Okay, what I'm going to do here is double click on the graph, and we're going to go to labels. Now, labels, it says here Y2 label. I'm going to call, let's say that the Y label is calling position, and this is going to be velocity, for example. Okay. And that still doesn't show up in there because we haven't activated that Y2 axis. So we go here to the Y2 axis, and by default, this is in false. We're going to put it in true, and that shows right here a different scale. As you can see, the scale here from position goes from -4 to 4, or velocity by default goes from -1 to 1. Let's put one decimal place here, and let's see. In the original graph, the f of x goes from -4 to 4, and this is actually going from -1 to 2. So I'm going to change this to 2, and I'm going to put increments of 1. Okay. And now what I need to do is go to traces, and the first trace, the f of x, is associated with the original vertical scale. The second trace is going to be associated with Y2 data, and so we change that to true. And that changes my my graph and makes it a little bit more complicated if you want. And what I'm going to do is go to the Y2 axis, and actually the lower level is a little bit below -1, so let's put -2. And that way, we get the g of x, what I'm calling the velocity, associated with this right side scale. That's the red line, and the orange line associated with the left scale. To make it more clear, we could change the legend by double-clicking on the graph, go to the names of the traces, and I say that the first trace, the f of x, is going to represent my velocity, so I'm going to call that, my positions actually, position, and then this one, velocity. So now it's clear which graph is representing which quantity and which scale is going to be associated with that. One more thing we could do here is go to legend, and in the position find the southeast corner. It seems to be obstructing anywhere because it covers the graph. One thing we could do here is change the y-axis to go to, it's going from -4, actually -3.95, I don't know about that. Let's put -5. That's a little bit better. So we could go further and say -6. Okay, now it's, the legend is clear, and the graphics are associated with the corresponding axis. Position is the broken orange line with the circles. That will be read in this scale to the left, and the velocity is the red line with the squares. That will be read to the right. And so that's the example I wanted to present, the use of two different scales with the XY plots. And with that, we end this video.